Before we start today's video, check out our affiliate links in the description down below. These can make some great gifts with the holiday season just around the corner, or even a gift for yourself. It supports the channel at no extra cost of you. Thanks so much. May the force be with you, and enjoy the video.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Ahsoka Season 2 will continue the story of Anakin Skywalker's former Padawan, whose story, alongside her Mandalorian apprentice, Sabine Wren, clearly is far from done yet. Indeed, with Lucasfilm and parent company Disney announcing that Star Wars Ahsoka will indeed be getting at least one other season, the duo will indeed be back for more adventures on the small screen at some point. So, what do we know about the Disney Plus show's second chapter ahead of its evidential debut? Of course, although StarWars.com themselves have confirmed in January of this year that the series is returning and Ahsoka Season 2 release date hasn't been announced quite yet. We don't even know whether it will start filming before many other new Star Wars movies and TV shows. Although creator, showrunner, and Lucasfilm Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni told the Happy, Hot, Sad, Confused podcast in June of this year that, quote, "Right now, my focus is very clearly on Ahsoka Season 2, end quote right there. It doesn't necessarily feel that way because we haven't heard anything necessarily about it. So fingers crossed we'll hear something about it rather sooner than later." So what could that mean in terms of its launch date? More specifically, well, its release date. Currently there aren't many other big Star Wars projects in active development right now. One that will surely impact Ahsoka Season 2's development, though, and if it hasn't already of course, is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, by which, of course, Filoni, alongside his frequent Star Wars collaborator Jon Favreau and partner in crime, is also working on. Din Djarin and Baby Yoda, Grogu's eagerly anticipated the big screen debut, is going quite due to its production this year. It is actually in the midst of its production and filming right now, before The Mandalorian and Grogu lands in theaters May of 2026. If the first Star Wars film since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker takes precedence from principal photography's perspective, it's possible that Ahsoka's next season will take a development backseat for the time being, especially if that's what Filoni chooses he wants to focus on and be a little bit more part of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is also fair to say. And so, if that is the case, and if it does, its own shooting schedule might not start until mid to late 2025, which means we wouldn't expect to see it arrive on Disney Plus until maybe late 2026 at its very earliest. I think the only other idea or choice or route that they could also take is, let's say, tomorrow. Filoni kind of doesn't necessarily drop out of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but says, hey, I'm going to take a break from this. You keep doing your thing with this. I'm going to go work on Ahsoka Season 2. And they, get underway with the production and actual filming of Ahsoka Season 2. Or maybe not even then. Maybe they start production and filming of Ahsoka Season 2 at the beginning of next year. In January of 2025, film through for the next 6 to 9 months, and in September of next year, they would still theoretically be able to release Ahsoka Season 2 before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie in 2026, if they were to, get ahead on it soon enough. It's a little hard to tell and really track it all out. It's really kind of all up in the air of how you really want to perceive it all, and kind of like how they would go about with the production style of everything as well. Like if they were to be editing while actually shooting, which many Disney Plus projects have done before and still do. Like The Mandalorian Season 3 did this, and Ahsoka Season 1 did this as well. It worked well for it, and I don't really see a reason for them to stop doing that. So Lucasfilm and Disney are also yet to confirm officially who's all coming back for the cast of Ahsoka Season 2. Of course, the inevitable and obvious Ahsoka Tano herself, Rosario Dawson, and her counterpart Sabine Wren, Natasha Liu Bordizzo. Given the circumstances of how Ahsoka Season 1 concluded with that bit of a cliffhanger at the end of that, they're kind of trapped in another galaxy with one another. We're also expecting the likes of Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Harrison Dula, Lars Mikkelsen as Grand Admiral Thrawn, Iman Estefandi as Ezra Bridger, Ivani Sakano as Shen Hati, Hayden Christensen as the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker, David Tennant as Hugh Yang, so forth and so on. Pretty much everybody that we saw, know, and love from Ahsoka Season 1 will be back around for its second go-around. Sadly, there is the one significant absentee from Season 1. The late Ray Stevenson, whose fallen Jedi, Baylan Skoll, was one of the show's standout characters, had passed away in May of last year. Star Wars doesn't traditionally like to recast roles, but Ahsoka Season 1 finale had hinted that Baylan still has a lot more of a significant part to play and a lot more story in him, and it also had appeared that in a more recent story on comicbookmovie.com, reports that claim that Lucasfilm is actually seeking a quote-unquote white man in his 50s to 60s in a casting call that would fit Baylan Skoll's description for Ahsoka Season 2. So maybe the studio will recast Skoll. Only time will really theoretically see with that. Despite also being the focus of the 3 prequel episodes of the animated series Tales of the Empire, Deanna Lee and Santio is not expected to return as the Night Sister Morgan Elsbeth. Seeing of how her character died in the Ahsoka Season 1 finale, many fans would anticipate and hope that her character would simply stay dead. There could, however, also be those cameos from other familiar faces, as pretty much every other rebel who survives Return of the Jedi is still active at some point in the Star Wars timeline. Anthony Daniels had his brief cameo and appearance as 3PO in Season 1, so what if we see a little bit more outside of that? What if we see maybe Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, all of the likes of the original characters, from the original trilogy, maybe make their way in some type of cameo. It seems the Mandoverse is very prominent and very loving for that in their cameos, so there could be something with that, but also with other cameos such as Steve Blum's Zeb to play more of a significant role in the second season after just not really popping up anywhere in the first season. Of course, he showed up at the end of The Mandalorian Season 3 and had also popped up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie teaser trailer that was exclusively shown at D23 a couple of weeks ago. That one is also a little hard to make out, but hey, I would hope to see Zeb maybe in Ahsoka Season 2 and have that full-on Rebels reunion before he goes off and does his thing in Ahsoka Season 2 or in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, despite on which one comes first. And lastly, those official plot details for Ahsoka Season 2 are quite thin on the ground, but we've heard some ideas of what could transpire, based upon, of course, how its forebear ended. With Ahsoka, Sabine, and the Jedi support droid Huyang are currently trapped on the world of Peridia in a distant galaxy, so their first order of business is likely to be getting home to stop Thrawn. Whether that involves enlisting the help of the resident Nodi, a cute snail-like species native to the planet of Peridia, hitching a ride with a Purgle space whale seems very possible and plausible, maybe their only way out, as Ahsoka did do in Season 1, or something more magical, though it's unclear. Speaking of magic, no live-action Star Wars projects have explored the mythology of the Force in such detail as Ahsoka, it feels like, especially for Disney+. Season 2 is primed to continue that deep dive, especially after Baylan Skoll's search for answers had led him to a pair of statues carved out into the cliffs of Peridia that transpire and represent the Father, and we think the Son, and the two of the ones, essentially they represent the godlike beings in this universe from the planet of Mortis from the Clone Wars animated show. Anakin encountered them in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and they have a crucial role in play in maintaining the balance of the Force. Morai, the owl-like convert who appears in Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 7 as well, is a manifestation of the daughter who represents the light side of the Force. The son is her dark side counterpart. Anyway, that's something I'll get on into a little bit deeper in a later separate feature video here on the channel, guys. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.